Hi, I'm Holly Andrews, Integrative Nutrition Health Coach and Executive Wellness Coach. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the kitchen. It is halfway through October, if you can believe that, and I love this time of year. I love fall produce, and I want to share with you today a warm, seasonal fall salad. Sometimes we want a salad this time of year, but we don't necessarily want the kind of summer salads with all the cold, cooling, crisp vegetables. Those are meant for summer to help us cool our body down. In the fall and the winter, we want something a little bit heartier that's going to help warm us up, and that is where this warm fall seasonal salad comes into play. We've got things like roasted butternut squash, roasted Brussels sprouts, cranberries, apples. We've got some toasted pecans, some goat cheese, and if you want, you can add in a protein source like salmon or chicken or something along those lines, or beans, lentils if you're not eating meat, to make this a super hearty salad, a dinner salad, if you will, a complete meal. We're not going to do that today, but know that that is definitely an option for you. We're just going to make the base salad that you might have as a side salad with a meal. So let's talk about all of the goodness that's in this salad, and then I'll tell you how I made it. All right, so as I mentioned, we've got some butternut squash in this recipe. We're roasting it. It's full of vitamin A and C and potassium. It's full of fiber. It is exactly what your gut needs right now to help keep your immune system strong this season. We've also roasted that butternut squash with Brussels sprouts, a wonderful cruciferous vegetable. Again, super great for gut health, tons of fiber to help keep all of those things in our gut moving. Obviously, we've got some vitamin K, some vitamin C, and folate in the Brussels sprouts, which helps reduce inflammation. Again, we want to get rid of any inflammation in our bodies to help our immune system stay strong during this season. And by roasting the Brussels sprouts with the butternut squash, we've caramelized them, bringing out some of their natural sweetness. So they're going to complement each other really, really well. To top the salad, we've got some other seasonal goodies, things like sliced apples. I've got some sliced Honeycrisp apples, thinly sliced Honeycrisp apples that I'm going to add on top. And of course, those apples, again, full of fiber, antioxidants, vitamin C for digestion, but it will pair really, that cool, crisp crunch of the apple is going to pair really nicely with the warm roasted flavors of the squash and the Brussels sprouts. We're going to top that with some toasted pecans. Pecans, of course, are a great source of healthy fat and heart-healthy fats, fiber, essential minerals like magnesium and zinc. So I toasted those on the stove, and that enhances their natural flavor. I'm going to top them with some dried cranberries for a little bit of burst of flavor and sweetness there, again with some antioxidants, vitamin C, phytonutrients, all of those good stuff from the cranberries that are going to help reduce oxidative stress and give a little bit of contrast to the pecans. And then finally, I'm going to top this with some goat cheese that I picked up from a local farm. It is, I think, garlic and chive goat cheese. It's what I was in the mood for that day. Probably if I'd been thinking ahead, I might have chosen some plain goat cheese or maybe a different flavor, but it's okay. I love goat cheese, so all good. It's just going to add a little bit of creaminess. Goat cheese also is a good source of protein and calcium and also iodine. So if you have thyroid issues and you need to have iodine in your diet to help support your thyroid, goat cheese is a great source of iodine. Then we're going to top it all off with a maple balsamic dressing that I tossed together really quickly, and this is going to be a really beautiful salad. So let's talk about, how I made the salad. All right, to start off with, I had a whole butternut squash that I got from our farmer's market, and I cut off each end so that I could stabilize it. I took my peeler, peeled the skin off, and removed the pulp and the seeds from the bottom end of that squash and cut it into bite-sized chunks. Then with the Brussels sprouts, I removed a little bit of the stem that was left, maybe took off some of the outer leaves and cut those Brussels sprouts in half. I tossed the Brussels sprouts and the squash together with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, put those on a baking tray lined with parchment paper, and stuck them in a 400-degree oven for 25 minutes until they were really nice and caramelized. while those were roasting, I was doing things like toasting the pecans. So I've got half a cup of pecans that I just lightly chopped into smaller pieces, toasted them in my skillet over medium heat for about 4 minutes. I also went ahead and I sliced up my apple. Now, I only sliced half the apple because it was a huge organic Honeycrisp apple, but depending on the size of your apple, slice the whole thing, don't, totally up to you. And then I made the dressing. So that was a couple tablespoons of olive oil, a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, a tablespoon of maple syrup with a teaspoon of Dijon and a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Shook that up in my mason jar. You guys know I love my mason jars, and that's the dressing. So everything is ready to go. So let's get this salad assembled. Okay, so I've got my I've got some organic spring mix that I picked up from the grocery store just because we've been out of town and I missed our farmers markets. So I picked up some spring mix to make the bed of this salad. If you don't want to use lettuce because you don't like wilted lettuce, then you could always make up some lentils or some quinoa or something along those lines to be the base of your salad. So then I'm just going to go ahead and grab some of my roasted vegetables here. They look pretty and smell great. I'm going to try to make sure that I get enough of each variety. Okay, then I'm going to grab some of my toasted pecans, sprinkle those on top, and move back over to my counter area. All right, so we've got our lettuce, we have our roasted vegetables, we have our pecans. I'm going to add some apple slices to this. Try to make it look pretty. Again, not a professional food stylist, but I can probably make it work. All right. Then I'm going to sprinkle some of my dried cranberries on here. Look, you guys, how pretty is that? It's looking really pretty. Now, this recipe does call for 4 servings if you're not using it as a main salad. If you're using it just as a side salad, you'll get 4 servings. If you want it as a main salad, then you're probably going to get more like 2 servings. I'm just making sure that I don't miss a step. All right, we've got our greens, our roasted vegetables, our apples, our pecans, we've got our dried cranberries. I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of this dressing over top here, and then add in my goat cheese. Again, if you don't like goat cheese, you could use feta. If soft cheeses aren't really your thing, then you could skip the cheese altogether. You could, again, put a protein on here. Grilled salmon would be beautiful with this salad. Grilled chicken, even like I said, some lentils or beans would be a really great addition. And I think that is good. So that is our beautiful salad, our warm roasted autumn harvest salad that I cannot wait to dig into because this is my lunch today. All right, friends, again, here is our warm roasted autumn harvest salad. I can never remember what I called this thing. Warm roasted autumn harvest salad. Isn't it gorgeous? I cannot wait to dive in. Thank you for joining me. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you've got other ideas for warm salads, I would love to know. And until next time, I believe that you can heal your stress from the inside out.